I will just, okay, since we are, yeah, while this is being recorded, maybe I'll just present the rest of it. And after that, we can stop the recording and do the discussion. Yeah, does it sound okay to you all? Shall we do that?
Okay, Mataji.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go ahead then. So from yesterday's discussion, I'm going to share the screen. Control. Okay, trying something. Anyway, you're able to see this, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So yesterday we have discussed about the importance, the uniqueness of Harinam in all the limbs of Bhakti. And after that, we have discussed about different levels of Bhakti. More than the stages of Bhakti, I would like to call it as different levels of Bhakti. Because Bhakti is like an ocean. So even if we are a neophyte, Madhyamadhikari or Uttamadhikari, we are still in the ocean. If we are neophyte or Kanishtadhikari, just beginning Bhakti, then we are more likely in a superficial stage with the ignorance and passion going on with us. So we can consider this Bhakti at different levels. Superficial level is more of aparadha, when we are doing Bhakti in the mode of ignorance or passion. As we get little deeper, when we become more quieter, peaceful, satisfied, that is more of Bhakti Abhasa, in goodness. And when it gets little more deeper, we cannot go ourselves beyond Bhakti Abhasa or goodness on our own. Unless we do Sharanagati, then you know what is this called? Scuba diving, right? What is that you in the scuba diving you get into that, right? The machine thing. What is that, Prabhu? What is that machine called for the scuba divers? You get into that vehicle, whatever that takes you under the water.
Oh, under the water, you're saying?
Yeah, under the water, Prabhu.
Not sure.
Waterproof.
Yeah, the chamber, you know, where we
the
get
oxygen chamber.
Yeah.
The oxygen chamber, it is.
ना oxygen chamber है, but लेकिन उसमें water भी नहीं होगा. There's a chamber. Okay, let's just call it a submarine chamber, where there is no water and you have oxygen in, but you can dive deep in the ocean. Okay, so to really get deep into the ocean, we cannot just go. Even the best of the swimmers, just on their own accord, they cannot go that deep without further assistance, like that the diving chamber or oxygen supply like that. So that kind of diving chamber is Sharanagati. To get so deeper, we cannot go on our own accord, but we give ourselves to Sri Guru and Krishna, and they take us deeper. So that is the deeper aspects of Bhakti. But even before that, our discussion is now more in the beginning stages of Bhakti, more on the upper levels of ocean. What to do about that? Because only if we clear the upper levels of Bhakti and make our way towards goodness, put our efforts, have the desire, put our efforts, at least from our side. And this desire and efforts would attract mercy. And so we will get more help, more support to go further in that direction. But at least from our side, if we have the desire and efforts, what to do in the beginning stages of Bhakti, do's and don'ts, so we can get from the superficial Bhakti to deeper, peaceful, happier Bhakti. That is the topic for us today. We have already seen the symptoms of what happens in a superficial stage of Bhakti. Ignorance, passion, we have seen, right? Lot of negativity. Ignorance signified by lot of negativity. Passion signified by self-absorbance of how good I am, that. And goodness, very little in the beginning. Okay, so that is more of a superficial stage. If we have identified ourselves in that more superficial stage, little bit or a lot, what can we do to get deeper, peaceful, and steadier in bhakti? So for that, we are coming to the next topic. I was going to ask you what has helped you in the past to get to that stage. Maybe the discussion part will soon get to that. Now we will just see from Shastra of what can help us to get to that deeper, peaceful stages, steadier stages in bhakti. So one thing we have to remember is we have to acknowledge where we are. If we are still in the initial stages with a lot of ignorance and passion going on, then we acknowledge it. First thing, we don't shun it away. We acknowledge. That's the first point. Second point, so how do I react to it? Okay, I've acknowledged. I'm just in the superficial stages only. What's the next step? Do I feel disheartened, hopeless, give up? Not really. What we want to do is at least be grateful that we have started this process of bhakti. At least we are in the Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. We are in the ocean of bhakti. We are not in the Bhavasagaram. We are not in the ocean of karma. Right? We are not in the material ocean. So for that, we want to be grateful. Yes, I acknowledge I'm in a very superficial stage, but I'm grateful at least I'm in this bhakti journey. So grateful. And what else to do in order to get better? I was working on this. Let me see if I can share this with you. I know I can try this. No, it doesn't seem to work. I have to stop sharing and then start sharing again. I'll share this one, Yeah, so these are the things that I put together from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, 17 and 18. Very useful for us, especially in the beginning stages. Our long-term goal is Raga Bhakti. Short-term goal is to get to goodness. At least do some bhakti steadily and peacefully. That should be our short-term goal. And towards this, we want to put some efforts by doing some do's and avoiding don'ts. And why do we want to do this? Not just because we feel good. Of course, we will feel good when we are doing all these things that are favorable to goodness. But our purpose is to please Krishna, to do our bhakti better. And why should we think like that? If we don't think like that, we will just get stuck in doing this to-do list. That's it. We tend to forget why we are doing it. So in that way, we may just get stuck in the goodness only. But each time we are trying to do these do's, each time we are stopping ourselves from not doing the don'ts, we want to link that to Krishna. Krishna, please let this please you, Krishna. Please help me to do these do's. Please help me from not doing these don'ts. So if each of our effort is linked with Krishna and doing it, so we can bring a smile on Lord Krishna's face, then that itself is bhakti journey. All that we are doing, all these small little efforts that we are doing so many times a day is all part of that bhakti. It is still included in the formula of bhakti. Okay, so that we want to remember, because in the beginning, because of the effect of ignorance and passion, You see the list here? These don'ts, they come out as a reflex from us. We don't have to wait or call, it just comes out. Then we want to remember this table from Bhagavad Gita, guidance from Bhagavad Gita of what not to do. Then when we notice ourselves these things coming out from the don't list, then we want to stop doing it. And then turn it to something positive and do it. So this is going to be our day-to-day effort. Sometimes, moment-to-moment effort, hourly effort. So this particular table, I would call it as, guiding table from Bhagavad Gita. You can just have it in your bedroom or puja room or dining room, wherever you want to, where you can see this list and then check yourself. Take that as guidance from Bhagavad Gita. Write whatever you like to write here. Bhagavad Gita guidance, my stepping stones, whatever you want to write, you can come up with that heading. But let this be a reminder, especially in the beginning stages. And as we clear all these obstacles of don'ts by reinforcing the do's, for example, whenever I feel resentful, morose about a person, about my family member, my spouse, my children, or friends, or anybody, when I see something not right in them, or when I want to complain about the people around, or about the life, or about what is happening to me, then I recall this Bhagavad Gita guidance, and then I switch my gear to positive, from negative to positive. Instead of complaining, I want to be grateful. I know this person is like this, maybe giving me this little difficulty, but I'm still grateful for whatever he or she's doing. So turning all that negative energy to positive energy. This is going to be our exercise throughout the day. This is when we are picked up from the lower modes to the upper mode. That's goodness. And all this is happening because we want to get deeper in bhakti. This is very much similar to the example, when we have to take stairs to have darshan of the lordships. Here we have small temples, but when you go to South Indian temples, especially you go to Tirumala, Tirupati, like that, they are up, located on the hill. So when we take all those stairs, the purpose of taking all those stairs is to have darshan of the Lord in the sanctum sanctorium, on the altar. In the same way, when we are trying to convert all this negative energy to positive energy, the purpose is to go deeper in bhakti, to please Krishna. Yeah. So that is our goal. So our hands are full every day. Our minds are full. It's going to be a factory now, turning all the negative energy to positive energy. And all this is categorized for our easiness. And this is all from Bhagavad Gita. I can put the references also here. I can post it on the group a little later. I'm still in the process of doing it. I didn't have time to finish. But at least this is categorized now. Still, I'm just going to quickly go over this list because this is an important one. Our attitude in life or to the people, we want to be grateful, not resentful. We want to be patient to see the results in bhakti, and grateful, at least we are practicing bhakti, but not impatient. We cannot become pure devotees overnight. We have a lot of baggage of this ignorance and passion. So it is going to take time, and we will be patient, and we are work in progress. So that's patience. Enthusiasm. Since bhakti is a descending mercy endorsed by Lord Krishna himself, this is going to work. And whatever I'm doing, I want to do it with enthusiasm and faith and life, not with such an apathy and dull and lack of interest. And yes, I want to continue this journey of bhakti with determination. And I don't want to be half-hearted, doing a little bit and not having hope. I don't want to be feeble like that. I want to continue this journey. I'll get the support I need. I'll clarify my doubts and I will continue the journey. Respectful. Yes, I want to be respectful to everybody around. Not look down on them with pride. And yes, I want to have peaceful dealings with others, not angry and harsh dealings. That's about attitude. Coming to speech, Bhagavad Gita says that our speech should be beneficial to others. It will be good if it can be gentle and not agitating and is truthful, but definitely beneficial. It has to be beneficial. This is uncompromising, this particular part. Because sometimes parents, when they have to discipline their children, or the teachers, if they have to discipline their students, they don't necessarily have to be gentle. And sometimes the student's mind will get agitated and has to be agitated if there is some discipline that needs to be incurred on them. That is going to be good for them. Otherwise, the change would not come. And sometimes it is necessary that, not the whole truth be told, but for the purpose of higher truth, only half of it is told, or no truth is told. But this beneficial part cannot be compromised. It should be beneficial to others. This is how our speech should be. So whenever, as I'm speaking, I want these to be my reminders. When I open my mouth and talk to my family or anybody around, I want to see that my speech is beneficial, uplifting to others, helpful to others. So this is my reminder. This is a reminder for me. And I want to be grateful. I don't want to be resentful. Okay. Coming to the mind, this is one thing. I want to be satisfied with what I have. This uncontrollable desire of what I don't have, and uncontrollable desire of I want to have more and more, is more like fire that cannot be extinguished with ghee. This is more towards the material things for the mind. When it comes to point of bhakti, if we are on the superficial stages, we acknowledge, but we don't want to sit there saying, oh yeah, at least I'm in bhakti, I will sit here. Not like that. We want to think in such a way, whatever makes us go deeper, go steadier and peaceful. So if we have to pinch ourselves a little bit, that's okay. If it helps us to get deeper, that's good. But if pinching is doing no good and is not helping us get deeper, then we don't have to pinch ourselves. So whatever helps us to get to mode of goodness, we want to do that. So mind, these are the austerities of the mind. Bhagavad Gita says, satisfaction, gravity, simplicity. Simplicity is whatever we have in mind, whatever is within, reflecting that outside. So we have to be cautious that whatever we have within is a simple one, a plain one, yeah, because that is going to be reflected outside. Saumya, a simple one, a gentle one, so it can reflect outside, not a convoluted, duplicitous one. So that particular quality is called saumya. Okay, and then self-control. Whatever the mind says, just because it says, we don't want to do it. We want to do it if it is favorable to our bhakti. Next thing about the body is do's and don'ts. With this body, we have to serve others. Serve elders, serve devotees, serve service to the people around. That's the austerity of the body. and serving the deities, deity worship. And this body should be clean always. And that is associated with the deity worship. Simplicity and celibacy will help us not to get entangled in the bodily platform. Yeah, so the last two things are to free us from the bodily platform. So ease and professional, just to add for us in this day and age. If somebody is working so hard professionally that they don't have time for the devotion or bhakti practice in life for a long period of time, then that's mode of passion. That's not recommended. We have to be dutiful but detached, and our effort has to be balanced in a long term. I mean, when there are deadlines, when we have exams, that's a different thing. But in general, our profession should not be so entangling and so intense as not to help us in the practice of bhakti. So these are the do's, these don'ts. As we try to put effort in here each time, Krishnizing it, then we get one step closer to Krishna, one step closer to Shuddha Bhakti or Raga Bhakti. But please remember, all this also is in Bhakti. We are still in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, still in the ocean, nectarian ocean of Bhakti. So we don't have to be resentful. We don't have to be in a rush, but gratefully, one step at a time. We want to head more steadily and deeply. Okay, so that's one thing I wanted to share. I think I will pause here. I had one more table that I want to share. This one is Bhagavad Gita guidance for day-to-day bhakti. The next table I was going to show is guidance during the japa. This is guidance for bhakti, that is outside the japa. That table would be guidance during japa. Both of them are so much interlinked, because whatever mind is there outside the japa, the same mind is going to be inside the japa. So I will pause here. At least we get to see one table, the bhakti guidance from Bhagavad Gita. I will post it in the WhatsApp group. And next time when we meet, we will go to the next table, Japa guidance. That is also based on the same principle, Japa guidance. I'll stop sharing now. And now I think we can